Welcome to Out of the Blank.
Welcome to another episode of Out of the Blank podcast. He's back again. It's been it's been a full year. Last time you were on was February 27th, 2022, and you're back. He's been a dad, but he got too busy with his dad stuff to care about his second child over here. Thanks so much for, giving me your time today. What's up, buddy? I missed you, man.
What's up, bud? It's great to be back. Life's been just moving at a million miles a minute. I don't, I people used to tell me you look really young for your age, and I'd say no wife, no kids. And in the last 2 years, I feel like I've aged 2 decades. I don't have any.
I hope your wife's not listening to this afterwards. Holy shit.
She wouldn't get it. She's that whatever asshole. That's what you have to find when you marry someone. You have to find someone that you could say real shit. Otherwise, you can't be fake for the rest of your life with somebody. You can't.
If I could just find someone who's interested in JFK, that would be fantastic.
Blown the lid off of all of that, man. and no one cares. It's past. I think anybody that really cared is already dead or senile.
No, whoever has the secrets has taken that to the grave, 100%. We're probably not getting answers on that ever. But I don't like that. Like, I'm definitely interested in the subject. I wouldn't call myself a researcher, but we don't have to focus on JFK. You did mention something to me. You're like, did you predict this? And like, I had to like roll it back because I think we talked about this a long time ago. It was, I got into a conversation with a guy and we were talking about like, I was like, people just call people racist for no apparent reason. And then he goes, that's not true. And then I looked up Pepsi calling everybody racist. And I said, I bet you in like the next year, you'll see more of this. Somebody saying Coke is racist. And then Coke put out that thing about how to be less white. And then I called it all like the UFO stuff. And then the government admits there's UFOs. And then I start getting interested in JFK, then the JFK thing. So then the CCP thing, recently, a couple weeks now, I've been trying to like learn more about the CCP, listening to this whole podcast. And I invited Josh Rogan on my show to talk about it. And we were going to plan a day. And the next thing I know, we have this CCP spy balloon or whatever that was up in the air. And I'm just like, all right, dude, I got to like go to like the gambling place and just be like, excuse me, I'm not going to win, and then see if I win. You know what I mean? Like I want to, but that's like my whole theory is like that whole will it into existence is BS. So now I don't know what to say about that. Cause like I've definitely willed some stuff in there.
Maybe you're just a conduit, like the energy is already in motion and it attracts to you. So you're like, these thoughts just pop in your head.
What's with the jellyfish hand gesture?
I talk with my hands. I'm Philly.
Oh, okay. Well, my world's been a little bit crazy, but for you, I mean, what's the business still going? What's going on?
Yeah, the business is still going. We're actually getting to move into our new production kitchen. We won't have to share space anymore after 8 years of trying to work around other people. We're going to have our own dedicated kitchen space, which is really exciting, especially after we had a fire in the space we were working out of last year that really put a monkey wrench in our growth. Lost staff, lost clients. It's been a rough year on that front, but we're still going. We're hoping 2023 is going to be a big comeback year for everything. It seems like stuff is starting to open back up again, and that whole 2020. I don't want to say the word. You might get shadow banned.
Talk about the pandemic if you want.
I don't know.
If I'm not shadow banned already, then I don't know what else to say.
You'll get that little like disclaimer on your thing. I hate that. Like if you just mention that one word.
We're talking about real events, and apparently we can't talk about it.
Right. Yeah. So it seems like the world's starting to try and come back to normal again. People want to gather and have weddings, and they don't have face diapers on their spaces anymore.
Didn't people just move? I mean, I feel like everybody went back. Like Florida remained normal. Well, our town, we don't ever talk about it at all. Like nobody really cares. I noticed it on Tinder though. When I'm swiping on Tinder or something, they have like vaccinated or unvaccinated. I was like, why would you put that as like your check? Can you transmit it through that? Like Tinder's all like a hookup app. It's not even people that go on there and saying, I don't want to play games. I'm like, you're on a fucking app that is literally designed to play games.
I don't know why people even care anymore. It's not like that does anything. Doesn't protect you. Doesn't stop anything. That we call
You
that. That
can't say
doesn't
that. You can't say that. That's the big one. You don't talk about that. You can say the damn name, but call it milk if you're gonna call it something.
do it. Even the CEO of Pfizer said it.
Stop, stop. What are you doing? This is exactly where I didn't want to go, and you exactly went
Anyway,
there.
so there's a balloon. The balloon, they shot it down. We don't know what it
I know
was.
what they were spying on. It's the thing I've been getting interested in, which is the Florida villages. You ever hear about them?
The Florida villages
There's a community of retirement homes, and this whole retirement home place is filled with old people that are all swingers.
in Florida.
Yes.
Okay. I
You've
mean,
ever hear about it before?
probably
What
don't
they
really.
do is they take to know that you're down to party, they take their loofah, like a shower loofah, and they tie it to their car. And each color of the loofah means a different thing. Like blue means you're a beginner. And there's like I swear, dude, do you not believe me? I'll pull it up right now.
Does brown mean you're into butt stuff?
I'm gonna pull this up because this is
So what
100%
part of
real.
Florida is
This
this
is
in?
what the
Is it like
CCP was trying to
D-land?
see. The CCP was
But it didn't
trying to
go over
figure what this
Florida.
out. If my computer crashes, I'm sorry. My computer's old and trying to share screen, my computer just doesn't know how to cooperate with me. So if you see my videos start tuning in and out, um, apologies for anybody viewing. Did I hit share screen? Is my computer going to do it? Nope, my Zoom just crashed, didn't it?
It says Robbie has started screen sharing. I don't know what to do with that.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
I can't see you. You're all black. There you go. I see you in a little screen up top, but there's nothing shared.
Did it click off again?
No, I still see you in a little like so
Well,
we're in two
I'll
screens at
just
the top.
edit all this out. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
The master editor. Oh,
At
BuzzFeed Club
some point.
Meds. Okay.
So this was also on the New York Post and everything like that. So it's boasting 100,000 residents over the age of 55. The Villages may be the fastest growing city in America. It's a notorious boom town for boomers who want to spend their golden years with access to 11 a.m. happy hours, thousands of activities, and no strings attached sex, all lorded over by one exclusive billionaire. Sep- There's like, if you scroll down in this, there's like, I don't get it. I mean, good for them. But if that's what the spy balloon was looking for, they're probably trying to figure this out if it's real or not. But look at they
I
got
only
a
have a
whole
few more years to get there, less than 10 years, and I could join this cult.
fantastic. Yeah, 55 is not old. I don't know why they said that.
I guess they figured like, oh, hey, Hilton Head in South Carolina.
I don't know. Well, I forgot what I was looking for.
I think, after a certain point, the Viagra just doesn't even work anymore.
Well, this is like the crazy thing is like apparently this has sparked up the biggest boom in the black market Viagra business, which is like nuts to me. Which is like this is what I mean. What do you do? Do you yell at
What's
them
right
for?
up to Wildwood? Wait,
Huh?
Wildwood, what? New Jersey?
I hope look, it's near you. Hold on, let me find what I was looking
Mm-hmm.
for. Trying to find where it's talked about the black market and it talked about you didn't believe me at first until I said this, and then next thing you know, I'm
No,
showing an
I did
article and you're
believe
like,
you
what the
because
hell?
I kind of, listen, my grandmother
Look,
wasn't
the
old.
CIA retirees group meets on the second Thursday of every month at 2 p.m. in the Lake Manoa Rec Center. I count 19 weekly opportunities for working with clay and 15 clogging groups. Yeah. So they clog, they do regular activity, but it's the CIA retire. I want to go here and just interview some people. I'm just going to walk in and be, excuse me, real quick, I don't have a loofah. I don't want to party with you guys, but I want to know, do you guys know who killed JFK? That's just one little quick question. This is where the answer is. If the CCP really wanted to get America fighting over each other, they would just try and solve the JFK case. That's all they could do. And if they find out the answer is like the government, then we're kind of like going to be destroying ourselves. And the CCP is like, that's exactly what we wanted. But where did it talk about the heroin black market thing? Or not heroin, Viagra. It's like
I don't
heroin,
think
though.
these
You get
I don't think
addicted
these
to it.
old people need no hair.
You can get a heart attack if you have too much Viagra.
Yes. That's why I'm scared to take it.
Hmm. All right, I'm not gonna be able to find it. Where's the picture of the loofah thing? We're gonna do it. Hold on, what is it? Florida villages.
Loofah. How do you spell loofah? How do you spell loofah?
Loofa. There it is. Is it still sharing screen?
There's no brown one there. Pink soft swap.
I can't see you,
Oh,
but
there's a,
apparently it's still screen sharing. Do you read
I can
these?
see
White
you.
means novices and beginners. Purple
Hmm.
means
I like to watch.
uh, black means what is it? Those
Full
who
swap.
say what the hell, let it all go.
Let it go
All right.
go.
Good God. I'm getting sick to my stomach. We're not doing that anymore. I didn't.
And it's old, wrinkly people
But
doing
can
that
you
too.
believe that? Imagine you're like golfing on the fourth hole, drinking an Arnold Palmer, and there's a car that comes by and has every color of the loofah on their car.
We're
But the
down for
crazy thing to
whatever.
me is that they had news people infiltrate this place, and they had them just go around interviewing people, and like some of them were like undercover trying to figure out like what actually goes on behind the curtains, and they switched over from loofahs to putting an upside down pineapple on their doorstep, which is just like I'm never going to be able to look at a pineapple again.
Pineapple means so many different things. It's
Good
big
for
in the
them, though.
hospitality industry.
Good for
Like
them.
that's our what do you call it? Our logo in hospitality. It's the pineapple.
I don't, whenever I can't, it's just, I don't know. Retirement community is like one thing, but it's like, I start thinking about like hotels and stuff where they put chocolates on the pillow. And like people like sometimes just wake up every day excited to go to like a hotel and see the chocolate on their pillow. And I'm like, I couldn't do that. I would never do that.
I haven't seen that in forever.
Sometimes they put soap. I think they eventually had to stop because it was costing them a fortune. They'd be like, I want a new chocolate pillow every day when I wake up.
And the cruise ships, they have to fold your little like what do you call that rag or your hand, your face towel or whatever. They fold it into like origami shapes.
And I've never been on a cruise.
I recommend it.
No, thank you. There's just a large chance that you're probably not going to make it back.
What better way to die than on a cruise ship out at sea?
That's terrible. I would hate to like be on a Mickey Mouse cruise ship and that'd be my last moment in life.
Do it. Um, I never told you about my cruise in Bermuda.
I think you probably told me it once
Yeah, I
before.
think it was it. My wife, she worked on Disney Cruise Lines for 6.5 years.
I know you told me that. I told her you got to get her on my show.
That's
We
why
got to
she could.
talk about it.
That's why I married her. I was like, if she could stand that for 6.5 years, she can make it with me.
Back to the CCP thing. What do you think it meant? Like, what do you think that is?
I have a few different theories. I know, like I read an article yesterday, and it was like whatever they're telling us, they're not telling us. We don't know what the lie is, but we know they're lying about it, right? Uh, you know, it could have come from China. It could have come from us. Just another distraction. We'll see what happens in the next few days. Whether some other shit pops out under the radar while everybody's all pointing fingers at this. "Oh, if Trump were there, they would have shot it down." And da, 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 our government's lacking. So that's my main theory. It's a distraction. I don't think it's a spy thing because they have satellites. Like,
Yeah.
what do they need a balloon for that they can't really control? They can fly a satellite over and look at whatever the hell they want. So I don't really believe that. I liked your theory of like, hey, if we wanted to, we could obviously like float this thing out there and you guys wouldn't know about it and we could drop whatever on
I
top
don't
of
that's not what my theory is. My theory is that I think it was a message. Um it was a message with two end goals. One is that when we see it and we go, okay, what is China doing? It's kind of warning us about our relationship with Taiwan because China doesn't recognize Taiwan as a country, and we have good relations with Taiwan. China thinks it's a part of them. And just I want to preface this because this is really really important. If you listen to like any podcast out there, listen to Josh Rogan on Joe Rogan's podcast explain the CCP because he really breaks it down in a way like there's a lot of things that happened with this like the Asian hate movement and all that type of stuff. The CCP does not think of it at all like that. There's none of that wokeology stuff that goes over there. So when you criticize the CCP, it does not mean you're criticizing Chinese people. It means that you're criticizing the Chinese government that is a totalitarian system. So it's okay to talk about that. It's not being racist, it's not being hateful. It's just calling like these people are, the government are putting people in China, like labor camps and all this type of stuff. Well, during
I
the
think
whole
that's
like,
actually the truest thing.
well, as
They
much
pretty
as like
much nailed it.
everyone kind of hates Trump, and that's fine. I mean, I don't like him either. I don't like Biden either. But the Biden administration picked up some of the stuff that the Trump administration was doing towards China. And you got to think of it like this. They have one guy that's in power till he dies, basically. So then what do we have? We have a new guy every 4 years. So you got one president that's hard on China, that tells China, we're not dealing with any of your BS. You're going to listen to us. Then the next guy comes in and he's a bit of a pushover. And the next thing you know, it's just at this point, they realize every 4 years it's somebody different. So they can just choose when they want to strike and choose when they want to go across. So during that Asian hate movement that was happening, Nike just asked a simple question, was like, hey, the people that are making our shoes, are they getting paid a decent wage? And China called them racist and all this type of stuff, and they got a lot of crap, and the government should have helped them, and they didn't. And then they banned Nike, and from a bunch of things. Nike had to learn really quick. So that's what the government notices, is that we think of it like this, and they realize they can capture upon that, just like Russian troll farms and stuff like that. Now, before I get like deep into the rant, the message thing was that it was a message that our relationship with Taiwan, but also at the same time, China has bought many American businesses that go over there, and people think that they can profit over there. They have stolen companies. They've done all this through transactions and all this. They have tactics of getting their business over here because they realize there's a market that they can sell to as well too. Now we get a lot of our imports from China, and the way that we kind of manage our relationship with them is not through yelling at them. I mean, during the pandemic, they also used to make our masks, and then they stopped giving us masks, and we realized, oh shit, we need to have, because they already have mask factories before the pandemic happened. It's not a conspiracy to say that, is that if you go over there, the pollution is so bad, people wear masks all the time. That's a very common thing over there. Now, we realize, oh crap, we need to make our own mask factories because we can't just rely on one place to get them. Now, the second part of that message with the balloon wasn't that this is a spy balloon. It had been up there for a week, and it's not like the government didn't know about it. They knew about it. It was just about, what do we do? Do we shoot it down and risk our relationship with China? And that was kind of them, like, how far can we go with this thing before they take it down or something like that? They were seeing if we would do it at all, and we did. So I mean, it was just interesting to see that, like, they're kind of testing us, like,
Did it after the fact that it flew across the entire. They're like, okay, it's
it's
out
because
in the
people
ocean now. Let's
noticed it.
shoot it now.
People noticed it, and they're
Right.
like, oh
They
shit, we
wouldn't have done
gotta.
anything. I yeah, I guess. I don't
I
know.
just want to know how many people reached out to their, all the people that were protesting guns, how many people reached out to their gun friend thinking like Red Dawn was going to happen.
Can we shoot it down? Can you get it?
No, you took our guns away.
Get your rocket launcher out.
And
I know
look,
you got one down in your basement.
that's not saying there's not nuts people out there that have guns, because there definitely is. And a lot of them are probably in our government. But hey, that's a different discussion.
I don't understand why they. I mean, I feel like they could have just like pulled up on that thing and took it, right? Like we didn't even have to shoot it down. They said they didn't shoot it down over land because they were afraid of the debris that would fall and cause injuries. And I was like, that's BS. Like you're saying that that it flew over, of course, that it was constantly over like houses or whatever. I mean, I've driven across the country. There's lots of dead area where there's no fucking people living. Nothing, no businesses or anything. It's just woods, right?
Maybe they thought it was some kid's balloon that got away from them. And they were like, oh, we got to give it back to little Timmy who's sitting at the
They
amusement
said
park
this,
crying.
so they said there was one over South America as well. They said that one crashed over Hawaii 6 months ago. There's all kinds of shit out now about
Oh,
it.
God.
I don't know. Maybe their weather balloons are just not good and they are just getting away from them. I
That
don't know.
goddamn gust of wind took that thing and flew it across the damn Pacific.
I don't think. I think they're having problems right now. They're just opening back up, so they're not. I don't think they're as much of a
First
threat
off,
as
the people
everyone
in the
puts.
government have been opened up for since the beginning. The
Government,
people have
yeah,
not.
but right, and it takes people to do things, right? It takes people to launch weather balloons,
This
make
is where I
weather
add the
balloons.
disclaimer, we're not CCP investigators, or we're not trying to analyze the Chinese government's, psychology, but well, I mean, a lot of people don't even know about the whole, like, social credit system thing. I think we talked about that before with,
I
like,
can't
government
believe
control.
that.
But do you know how it started, though?
How it started?
Yeah, there's too many people in China to police, so the police go home after 10 PM. It was a way to make sure people could be citizens and, tell if somebody did a crime or not, and then it went a little bit too far, the goalpost moved, and then it became a way to really control people and kind of bring in this Orwellian surveillance aspect of things, and that's, like, where we talk about the dangers of where things end up. That's the danger, is that when you get a little bit of power, you kinda want a little bit more, and you just keep grabbing until there's no more apples left in the basket.
Well, yeah, I mean, I forget who it was that I saw was talking about how CCP is basically the guy that rules it is totally paranoid right now. And like he said that they're listening to, they can, the government can listen to what's going on in their offices and everything, and they're not hearing anything because no one is talking. Everyone is just so terrified of this guy that like it's just like just try and hide under the radar. And there's a huge power vacuum when he goes because he's eliminated any kind of competition or leadership that would kind of be able to replace him. So I'm not as worried about China or Russia as I was before because within I'd say 20 to 50 years, they're just going to have an internal collapse. They the whole population collapse thing is going to go down, and they're just not going to have the leadership to stand up. Like you said, every 4 years we get a new leader. That kind of like allows us to keep things moving. Whereas those countries, when the leaders that are in power right now fall, they're the leadership that's going to come up is going to be so inept that the country itself is going to have a hard time just maintaining its own stuff. They're not going to be able to mess around with the rest of the world like everybody's afraid of. Um,
You say that, but I mean, have we seen that so far? They've been able to control the people over there for put them on huge lockdown. That's the only problem is that the people are the problem. Like we have a voice here. We have freedom of speech.
they just go along with it though. There's so many of them that if they were like, why are we listening to these guys? Okay, so they can get one or two of us, but they can't get all billion of us. Just stand up and start fighting. They're just so submissive. I feel like that's their main problem.
Well, I mean, even the defectors, the people that do end up leaving their country and coming over here, did you know that there's some that openly speak out because they have no family back in China? But the ones that, well, like Naomi Park's a good example. I think we've talked about her before. But she's talking about how she had to escape Korea and all this type of stuff. And then, when she's telling these stories, there's people that are from Korea government or people that are defectors but have family back here that'll defend the government and say you're a liar, and then it becomes a controversial because they have family back home. I mean, that's the crazy thing is like if you're pro like understanding like what the importance of being a human being is, and you talk about what the Chinese government does, I mean, they give people hysterectomies to where they can't have kids anymore, all because they sign on to a VPN. Like that's what we do with that on a daily basis. We're doing that right now. We're signing on to the internet.
Right. Did you hear about the CCP police stations here in America that are like monitoring those people that speak out against the government, against the CCP
You're
here?
not talking. I haven't heard of that. I've heard of Confucius Institutes.
No, there are CCP police stations. There's a couple in New York. I feel like there's a couple up in the Midwest, and they have their own Chinese police stations that monitor and try and like affect the people, the defectors that are here in America. And if they get out of line, they try and kidnap them and take them back. Yeah, they go down that rabbit hole. I'm
That's so
surprised you haven't
scary.
fallen.
I'm not scared of the government killing me, but I am definitely a little bit nervous about the CCP. Like, I'll stop talking about them if they find out who killed JFK. That's fine.
You know what bothers me about that whole thing? Like what you're talking about, like the JFK stuff comes out and the UFO stuff comes out, and like no one, everybody's just like, okay, and then just keeps going on. Like,
Because life's too hard. You can't focus on everything. More people are complaining about yo-yos and how come we lost track of where yo-yos went. Dude, to be honest with you, man, I mean, a year was the last time you were on. It does not feel like a year, but it's been a year.
It has been, yeah. But no, you're
And it
right. It doesn't. That's what I said. Life feels like it's moving at a million miles a minute. Like,
and I don't know what that is, but I swear to you, man, like the other day I was talking to my buddy Rich and I was like, "Yeah, I've been interested in the assassination for a couple months now. You know, I think I'm doing good work." He's like, "Robbie, it's been longer than a couple of months." And I go, "What?" He goes, "Well, I was back on 7 months ago. And you had me when you were probably 3 months in." And I go, "What?" And I look it up on my phone on air and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's been like a year." I was like, "Oh, where did the time go? I don't want my life to end like that." You know, that's how people end up like looking into something for 60 years. And the next thing you know, you're older and you're joining the villages and you're putting a loofah on your car. And then you're drinking an Arnold Palmer and walking up to some person's house with an upside down pineapple. And then you're like, where did my life go? And then next thing you know, you're banging a CIA agent. You're like, oh, that would be awesome. I just got excited. I just got
you're banging a
excited.
CIA agent.
Dude, are you kidding me? What kind of that's something you put on your resume.
Are you banging a CIA agent?
I wish.
Uh,
Don't say that. There's people in the community of JFK that'll think I'm a spy.
they already know you're a spy. You're a spy for your own personal spydom.
I definitely would probably fit the profile if I was going to be like an undercover agent.
Except you never leave your fucking house.
I do leave. I go to work.
You got to go out of town sometimes. You
I never go out of town. No
got to go
vacations
to
ever.
foreign countries.
My last vacation was 2015 and I was looking through my emails and I sent myself a bunch of photos from my GoPro when I was in Hawaii and it was like me with a sea turtle and I was swimming underwater and then I there's just this random guy, a Chinese fellow, and he's doing this on my camera and I go, "Oh, I remember this. I was on the beach and I saw the guy out there and I just tossed him my GoPro and I was like, wave it around." He smiled at it and that's what I'm saying. It was awesome. He's a nice guy.
He was saying peace as he was about to run off with your
No,
GoPro.
I know. I didn't even think about that. I mean, that was when I was like, I don't think people are going to be bad, especially when you're on vacation. You can't be in a shit mood and be in Hawaii.
I guess.
That's like being in the villages and being in a shit mood. You can't be like that.
I'm pretty sure that people from Hawaii go into shit moods.
I mean, if they live there their whole life, yeah, probably. I mean, I live in a beach town and I fucking hate the water.
I used to live when I lived in Daytona, and I was like, "Where do I go on vacation? I live in the vacation. Every day's a vacation here." I used to have to come back here to Philadelphia and have an anti-vacation. It would be cold and like this is why I left this place. It sucked.
Yeah, but Philadelphia is a crowd. Like in Philadelphia, if you walk outside, you're sipping your coffee, like it's a lovely day out, and one person goes, "Fuck you," and you're like, "Oh yeah, this is great." But you gotta like that though. At least people are friendly.
Yeah, I think so. I keep asking, I've been back almost 10 years now, 9 years, and I keep asking myself, I'm like, why the fuck did I come back here? I got out. I was out for 20 years. I was free. And then I realized it was because I got soft. Like once you leave here after a while, you start saying hello to strangers and stop like being suspicious of everyone you meet. And I got like soft, had to come back and get hardened again.
Isn't it just getting older?
No, I don't think so. The only time I try and think of myself as old is when shit hurts. Or like it's still like
Like
they'll be
what?
like,
Tell
"Oh,
me about it.
Nirvana released this album 20 years ago," and I'm like, "Fuck, 20 years ago."
Oh God, I was thinking shoulder pain or leg pain or something like that. And you're like, "Oh God, Nirvana." I was like, wait a minute, wait, that hurts your soul. That doesn't hurt. That
Everything
hurts my
hurts now, Robbie.
generation.
I have, what do they call it? Inflammation, nerve inflammation. So like everything hurts. My hands, my feet, my legs, my
Are you getting it
back.
looked at?
That doctors can't really treat it. You have to
You just don't trust doctors.
I don't, because they're just gonna give me drugs. They're not, so they don't fix the problem, they just treat it. It's not gonna go away. They'll just make it like not as bad. Um, it's a lot that has to do with like diet, stretching, exercise, those types of things. So I have to stop drinking beer as much as I do. Stop eating certain things, and
Gluten,
then drink like
cutting out
Yeah,
gluten.
well, I'm not going to be a glutard, but yeah, not as much gluten. Drinking tea and lemon and ginger and
Oh my
turmeric and
God, you're one of them now. You're drinking tea.
yeah, I gotta drink tea.
Wait, so what's the craziest thing that's changed in your life, like food wise?
Food wise, nah, I won't give it up. If I start going that way where like I can't have it at all anymore, I'm not gonna do that.
Do you have an old man anything that you do, like anything old man related,
Like
like
when I
folding
get
your
up in the
underwear?
morning and everything starts cracking and I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
but
lay
that's
on my
just, I mean, I'm 25 and I do that, so that's not big.
no, no. I yell at kids now. I'm like, get off the
Oh,
fuck
really?
on.
Yeah. Do you really?
Yeah.
That's like that's your old man card right there is
Yeah,
when you
yeah. When I'm
hit
out
50,
back
you
and
just
people
start yelling.
speed through the driveway, and I'm slow the fuck down. Kids live here. Yeah, do that now.
Good for you. Good for you. I would love to see you make like I thought about this the other day. I would love to see you make like videos where you're teaching people how to do things. But here's the kick to the video. So the other day, my door handle broke off of my car and I had to fix it. So I'm looking up the YouTube video and someone had got the same exact car I had and it was there. I was like, this is fantastic. So I get the whole door thing off. It took like an hour and a half. And I get the whole door thing off, and then it goes, all right, now we're ready to put it all back together after you like install the door handle and everything. And then I was like, imagine if there was only 20 seconds left in the video, and he goes, all right, now we're gonna put it all back together. And then it goes, psych, you're fucked. And then it just ends. I was like, that would be the best way to do a video. It would be like you take everyone through like an hour-long process of getting their door done, and then you just screw them over, right? I mean, it'd be terrible for society. We already have trust issues, but that'd be
I love
fantastic.
that. That would be the type of video I would like to do.
Today, we're going to teach you how to clean your stove. First, we're going to disassemble the stove. You take everything out and they go, guess what? You're fucked. And then just hang up.
But if you don't even say
End the
that,
video.
you just go now. Do everything in reverse, and then just to complete this video, just play it backwards.
I feel like if you had, like, at that moment, you put on sunglasses and you had a mullet and then you got in a big truck and you had a cigarette and you just flicked them off and then just drove off. And that was the ending of the video. And the guy's like, oh my God, what do I do?
You know what else is perfect about that? I'm great at taking shit apart, putting it back together.
I think everybody is.
Right.
I always
Right.
just hate it when you have an extra screw and you're like, this went to something and I don't know where it went.
Yeah. I've been thinking about doing tutorials on like putting together IKEA furniture.
Like, stop lying to me.
I'm a
Your
master of it.
your video would be way more popular than this podcast if you did that. So many people would be like, "Oh my God, finally someone's walking me through this," because I never buy the store model.
Right. The one that's already pre-built or the one that
Yeah,
they
they
build for
never
you.
sell you those because the guy who built it probably ended up jumping off the roof or something because he was so pissed at trying to.
They have people that like professionally put it together for you. They have their own. So like I've always been like, I want to get a job at IKEA putting the furniture together and then do those tutorials of how to do it. I feel like that's what college really prepares you for because you know when you're in college you got to buy the cheap furniture they put together yourself. And now that I have a kid, it's all the same shit. You got to put everything together. And I'm like, this is what I really learned in college: how to put together cheap fucking IKEA furniture.
Or just building your kids' toys because now everything has to be like small. I mean, it was always kind of small parts, but now like everything is like really kind of sophisticated toy wise to make.
Not really. It's like putting together fucking IKEA furniture. I swear. All the shit that I keep getting for her. Christmas is great. I love it.
How much are you in the hole after that one?
Uh, uh,
Just think in like 17 years, she'll be able to pay you back by working at your job or business.
17, bro. Another 4. She could start talking, walking, and taking orders. She's in the window, and
There you go.
then I get the tax deduction on that as well.
You're just copying the CCP already.
Already,
Congratulations.
yeah, they're great. I love it. Cameras everywhere, facial recognition. I saw a video yesterday of a woman that is now banned from every gas station in China.
Oh God.
You saw that where she just kind of opened the window and just dropped the money out. So it wasn't even the CCP that did it. All the gas stations got together and they're like, yeah, that license plate, that car can't come in.
That would happen over here. You know, if they started doing that, I mean, they easily could. You know how many people are just not normal people when they go out into their everyday life? Like they've just dropped. There's a lot, and look, there's mornings I have that where I just have a I don't give a shit attitude.
You
And
just drop the money out the window.
I got angry at work because
It's like, fuck.
I had so much going on. I was angry at work and I went to go change the paper towel dispenser thing and it wouldn't work. It wouldn't open up. So I was like, ah, and I just start walking back. And then I come back again. I'm like, let me give it another try. And I go in there and the key broke off in the thing. And I literally grabbed the thing and I was like about to rip it off the wall. And then I just let go and everyone's like looking at me. I was like,
I
walk
feel like
away.
that's a little bit different, you know.
Come back and
Like
drop kick it.
I
Ah,
understand. I understand that. You know, the machinery's not working. That's frustrating. And you're not hurting another human being. Where this woman was like, the lady went to go take the money from her and she just was like, boop, and the Chinese money's just blowing all over in the wind and the poor
oh,
lady's got to like pick it up and shit. Like,
oh, she got out of the car and picked it up.
no, she made the worker do it. If she would have got out
Oh,
of the car and picked it up, I think she wouldn't have gotten banned. But it's just that type of like shitty treatment of people trying to do their job and you just not caring about them. Like I got into it. I took the family down to Atlantic City last weekend, and I had I had a couple. I had some casino chips that I had to cash in, and I'm standing in line at the teller window, and it's Tuesday morning, like 10 o'clock in the morning. It's not like the casino's super busy, so they only had one cashier window open, and there's like a guy at the window, and then two other people in front of me, and then me. So four people in line. Not a big deal. How long does it take to exchange money? And the guy starts bitching. He's like, "This is ridiculous. One window open to cash out the entire Tropicana casino. This is so bullshit. This is so ratchet, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, bro, chill out. Like, relax. You get your money and get out of line. You're the one that's holding up the whole process. And then the next lady got in line and she started bitching out the woman. And I'm like, excuse me, that's a person right there. They don't own the casino. She probably has no control over how many windows are open. Why are you treating her like that? She turns around and calls me an asshole. And I was like, you're a fucking bitch. Like, what's
whoa.
your problem? And then the guy behind her started getting in. He's like, oh, they're just trying to make money without having to put as many employees up and on. I was like, you realize there is an actual labor shortage going on for these types of jobs right now. And he's like, they got tons of employees back there. And I'm like, but they may not be cashiers. You don't understand. He's like, well, I'm retired 60-year-old, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, good for fucking you. But treat this person with some respect at least. Like, why are you yelling at them? They have no control over this. Like, so you had to wait an extra fucking minute out of your life. You're retired. Where do you got to go in such a hurry? Why are
To
you
the
bringing so
village.
much?
What do you mean? Where does he gotta go? He's gotta go to the village.
I was like, it's too early in the morning for this type of fucking negativity on the end of my vacation right now. And yeah, I just like, what's wrong with this? I got to the window and I apologized for their rude behavior to this poor woman. And like the look in her eyes was just like, thank you for.
Yeah, but that's like customer service. You know how that is. People like I get bitched out at work sometimes, and it's not even my fault.
Exactly. Like, why? Why do people feel the need to do that? Like,
I get it. I mean, I go to Royal Farms, the gas station. Me and you know about it, but probably people listening don't have any idea what that is. It's basically if you go there at 3 o'clock in the morning, someone's on meth working there 100% of the time. I literally rolled up, and then the guy goes, "We're not open." I go, "You guys are 24 hours." He goes, "Yeah, but the other person didn't show up to their shift," and he just put a sign on the door that said closed, and it wasn't a real closed door sign. It was drawn on, and I go, "What?" I come here every morning the same time. The other day, and this is when I put a knife in my car, and I don't care if anybody hears this because this is like real. There's a 26-year-old kid drunk. I don't know what he was, but I'm pumping gas in my car. I'm wearing shorts. I'm wearing a hoodie, getting ready to go into my job at the gym and pumping gas. This kid circles around my fucking car, does not, his head just, it stays like this, like staring at, like as he's walking, his head just stays in position staring at me. And I look up and I'm listening to like music in my headphones. And I pull the headphone out and I go, "Can I help you?" And walks around my car again, staring at me, and then goes to go cross the highway. And then he turns around and goes, "Fuck you, man." I was like, "Why'd you wait till you're over there to say that?" But it was like something where I was like, it was just, you don't know what's going to happen at 3 o'clock in the morning. And it's every single, and this is when I started videotaping this shit because I started going, nobody believes me that I could just get into these weird scenarios. I'm sitting in the parking lot at my gym. I swear to you, this is at 3:30. I go in at 4. So I got 30 minutes of just sitting in my car. So I'm sitting there on Tinder, swipe, swipe. That's a dude. Swipe left, swipe, 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 swipe. I'm just going back and forth. And this Kia, I mean, little black Kia pulls up, goes over to the car that's waiting in the parking lot beside me, goes right beside him, so much so that he can't even back out. Like to where he can't even open his door. You have to roll his window down, tell the guy to move over so he can get in, like middle lining it basically. And he goes, I see them talking. I just go, what the? So I start videotaping. I go, what the fuck is going on? Then as I put my phone down and stop videotaping, I guess this is how I know the guy told him my name and everything. The guy comes up and pulls up right beside me, and I go, oh shit. And he goes, roll your window down. It's an older guy. Here's the crazy thing. This is like 3:30 in the morning. Older guy in a Kia Soul pulls up right beside me in an empty parking lot wearing hunting gear. He's wearing a full hunting hat, full orange vest, and everything. Like he's about to go shoot some deer. And I go, oh my God. And I roll down my window. He goes, hey, Robbie. And I go, in my head, I go, that motherfucker that was in the other side of the parking lot that always goes there every morning said who I was and told him who my fucking name was. And he goes, do you know where the gun shop is? And I'm like, no, I don't. I think there's not even one in Maryland. He goes, there has to be one. I Googled it on my phone. It says around here. Maybe it's over there. I don't know, man. I don't hunt. And he goes, okay, well, do you know? And I go, no, I'm sorry, man. I got to get ready for work. And then I just roll up my window and he drives off. And next thing I see the car going up and down the highway, just back and forth. And I walk inside and I walk over to the guy. The guy's name's Bob. And I go, Bob. He goes, yeah. I go, did that guy come over there and ask you about a gun shop? And he goes, yeah. And I go, at 3:30 in the morning? He goes, yeah. And I go, why the hell would you give him my name? He goes, oh, I didn't think it was a big problem. I thought he was going to come over to you anyway. I go, yeah, but he said my name like he was a friend. And you gave him, you don't do, that's common sense to not do that. And he did it. And I was like, oh, dude, I just don't even know what to say to you. And like, I get it. I guess I get it. I mean, if you're friendly, maybe you don't think about that type of stuff. But I feel like that is just common logic. If someone approaches you at 3:30 in the morning when full on hunting gear and asks you where a gun shop is, you either call the cops or you get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah, that's definitely
That
crossing
was my rant.
boundaries.
I'm sorry.
Why give away that much information? Yeah, that's definitely strange. Why, if you're already ready to go hunting, don't you have your gun with you? Why are you looking for gun shop? You need more ammo?
He was going to buy one at 3 o'clock in the morning, apparently.
Mm. Did he have on Maryland plates?
I was so just taken off where I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on right now. I just rolled up my window and I just looked down on my phone and acted like I was doing something.
So next time you're at a gas pump, just anybody act shady, just whip out that
Well, I
pump and
put I put a knife in
fucking
my car because I asked my cop friend and I was like, real quick, I was like, what do I like if I what would be the best thing to carry in my car? Pepper spray or anything like that? He goes, there's no self-defense law in Maryland. So whether you use a knife or pepper spray, you're gonna get charged for the same thing. So he goes, you might as well go and get something that's actually going to stop somebody if they come at you. I was like, well, I can't get a gun. That takes a long time. I don't feel like shooting people. He goes, just get a knife. He's like, to be 100% honest with you, he goes, you want to protect yourself out there. And there are like, I mean, he tells me stories every morning. The other day, his face was all busted up, and I go, "What happened?" He goes, "I got in a fight with a guy on PCP," and I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, the dude bit my face, and he's got like a giant like teeth marks in his nose." And I'm like, "Oh my God, the stuff you guys go to at like 1 o'clock in the morning." It's like people don't understand how hard it is to be a cop.
up big time. Yeah, I always kept something right in the like in between the seat and the center console,
Okay.
tire iron,
Oh,
something that's kind of long enough that I can swing. It's heavy and do damage. I used to keep a baseball bat, but then there was an incident and I got warned by the cops that probably better to not have the baseball bat. If I did have the baseball bat, I would have to have a glove and a ball, and then you have to have like a reason here in Philadelphia.
I
So
was just playing baseball with my kid. Where's your kid? Oh shit, I got to go back to the park and then just start
pretty
driving
much,
away.
yeah. Pretty much, you have to have the premise that you're going to be using it or was using it for sports activities, and then an altercation happened and you had to defend yourself to use it.
What do you say if you have a gun in your car?
As long as you have a concealed carry, you're okay. You have to have a permit.
Huh,
You have to
I
have
don't
a
know.
permit here in the city of Philadelphia.
If
Outside
I
of
was
Philadelphia, you don't have to have that. You can open carry, but it has to be openly displayed. Like, you can't have it hidden in the console.
if I was making a law, I probably would make it so you can't have a gun in your car.
But then how would you get the gun from point A to point B? You have to walk
Like
it.
you can carry it like that, like if you're driving to a place to put it in there, but you can't just keep one in your car. You know, like I saw a video of a guy, he opened up his like middle console and there's a gun safe and he hits the buttons on the gun safe and then pulls out his gun and he thought the guy behind him had a gun because they were getting like he was brake checking them and stuff. And as the car, it's a video, you can watch it. As the car drives, the guy just starts
Oh, he
firing
shoots out the
shots.
windshield, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's like you can't, that's one area I feel like you should not have a gun. Mostly because the aggression that comes out while you're driving is just ridiculous that it's sometimes it's unwarranted. Sometimes it's just like you can't even stop it. You just turn into the fucking Hulk. Like everybody's driving down the road ready to flick each other off. I had a guy on my show talk about toxic masculinity and he was going in on toxic masculinity. And I said some things where he looked at me and I was like, oh, that was definitely a dumb question to ask. Cause I was just curious. I don't know. I get yelled at for sitting with my legs wide open. People say I'm spreading or something.
Man spreading. But my
It's
balls
whatever.
stick to my legs. So you can't, that
Sorry.
who
Don't need to go
people that
that
get
deep.
upset about
Okay.
that
All right.
are people
Hang
that
on,
have
buddy.
tiny dicks and little balls.
um but he was talking about toxic masculinity. He goes, just like it's a toxic male trait to immediately want to fight another man because your confidence or your reputation is now on the line. And I started looking at him, I go, wait, like driving in a car, do you get out of the car to fight somebody? Because sometimes I do that. Like if we get out of the car, I go, well, someone's gonna have to throw a punch because I'm not backing in my car first. Like that's a real thing though. Usually everyone gets out of the car and they usually yell at each other, and then everyone gets back in and drives away like, yeah, fuck you, yeah, fuck you. That happened to me on Christmas. I was driving to the gym at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I stopped at a stoplight, and this guy thought I was riding he was going 45 at a 55. So I was a good couple car lengths behind him, but I was just like, I don't want to slow down to go. So I just like he thought that I was too close. And he goes, you got a fucking problem? And I looked at him and I go, with my headphones in my ear, what? He goes, you got a problem? And I just look at him and I go, do you? And then he just stared at me, goes, yeah, fuck you. And then drives off. And I just go, it's Christmas Day. Like it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm not gonna do this at 1 o'clock in the morning. And it's Christmas Day. Christmas Day to me is like that's a day you don't fight. You don't drink on that day, you don't fight on that day.
Fight Christmas.
You can fight with your family, that's fine.
Right. I feel like that's what Christmas is for.
Maybe I'm an aggressor. I don't know. I'll work on
Eggnog
that.
and family fights. I know you're right. It's the reason why I don't have a gun. Everybody's like, you don't have a gun in Philadelphia, and they said, I will shoot someone. I will go to jail. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want. Society hasn't broken down enough, almost, but not quite enough. We still have laws. So until it's back to like the wild wild west days, where it's like, oh, okay, draw, motherfucker, and then you'd be like, well, he said something about my horse, and the sheriff will be like, oh, all right, well, then you had justifiable cause to shoot that fool. But now you got to be careful. So at this point, no, I don't have a gun, but I do carry other weapons, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. City of Philadelphia now, it's almost like Gotham. They got
Well, I feel like that's just going to end up being the way the world's going to start working. I mean, we already see that now is that people don't want to associate with other people, don't even want to strike up a conversation because you just don't want to deal with people. People are now so isolated in their little bubbles and circles. It's like pretty ridiculous, but whatever.
yeah.
But you got
I
to
feel
protect your
like
own, man. If someone threatens you, you feel like you're threatening the
100,
family. Yeah.
100. Yeah, you definitely need to protect yourself. You can't just back down from every confrontation, but there's ways of doing it where you can get out of it without going to jail. Hopefully, once you bring the gun into this whole scenario, it gets
We
amped
went
up
down a
quickly.
dark road really quickly.
I mean, isn't that what we do?
Speak up a little bit. Jesus, what is wrong with you?
Uh, I have to scream.
No.
You can't
Just
hear me? I'm
when you start
nasally right now.
talking
But
under
I
your
have these
breath, you're
things in my
pulling.
ear.
Oh, when you're talking under your breath, you start pulling the customer service thing where you start cussing out the customers under your breath because they want an extra helping of beef in their food.
I got your extra helping right here.
You're like, I can't close the burrito anymore. If I give you another helping of beef, we're going to have a salad.
Back of the line. That's why I love behind my food truck. People get out of line. It's like, next. And they look at me and they're like, what happened? And I'm like,
Do
you're not getting served
you ever have like a dumb question that gets asked to you?
all the time.
Like what?
Is the pork halal?
Is the what?
Is the pork halal? Uh,
What does that mean?
so halal is almost like kosher. It's the Muslim version of kosher.
Oh,
And pork
I
is
think that's
never
impossible, isn't it?
kosher or halal. Right. Exactly. No, yeah, there's just dumb stuff. Is the ice cold? Is the water wet? Does it taste good? No, motherfucker. I'm just out here selling garbage.
I
I
mean, depending on where you're located, in some places, people feel like they can get away with that.
I just like, there's like a line, a huge line. You waited like 5 minutes to come up and tell me what you wanted, and you don't know what you want. What's good? What's your favorite? They're all my favorites. That's why they're on the menu, my man. It's my place. Yeah. What would you recommend? Any one of those things. Can you
Well,
just tell
what
me what
would
you
you
want?
recommend?
Brisket. I was gonna go to the brisket.
Like
Brisket's the number one
if I
seller.
don't eat meat and I only do shakes, what would you recommend for me?
You don't eat meat and you only do shakes. The falafel bowl. That's our chickpea
What if I
ball
don't want it in a
over
bowl?
beds of greens. You want me to put it on a
Can,
plate
can you chew it up and spit it into my mouth like a baby bird?
like a baby bird? Actually, chew it up, swallow it down, and then shit it in your mouth if you like.
I feel like that's a really long wait time, and I don't want to wait around. I want something that's not too hot and not too cold. I want something that's healthy but not too healthy because I still have a sweet tooth. And then I want something that's going to make me feel like I spent good money on this, but not too expensive, not too much good money because I don't want to feel like I had a really good time. I just want to have a decent time. What would you recommend? Well, McDonald's is right down the street.
You should get the chicken cheesesteak empanadas.
I feel like the world went to shit when McDonald's took out their playhouses that they had in there that the little kids could run around.
McDonald's is so depressing right now. McDonald's looks like it's going through a midlife crisis, and it needs to buy a condo on the beach and a Ferrari.
Well, because employees just stopped caring. Everyone stopped caring, but like fast food workers are like the first to go. They were like, nope, we don't care. And they're like, we'll pay you 25 an hour. And they're like, nope, I don't give a shit.
Because people treat them like shit because they're fast food workers. And this is what I was getting at before. It's like, no, man, that's a human being back there. And people pull up and they feel like they're at the 5-star restaurant and everybody should be kissing their ass. And it's like, no, you're getting a Happy Meal and the cheapest other food that you could possibly get. Like, no,
It
I don't
started
have
with
to get
Royal
your order.
Farms. It started with Royal Farms. I'm telling
Royal
you.
Farms has been awarded the best fried chicken.
I was just gonna say that. Hold on. I was gonna say what is Royal Farms known for? What are they known for?
Gasoline and fried chicken.
Okay, when I went to Royal Farms and I got a chicken tender basket with French fries, you know what they said to me? We're all out of chicken. I can make you the fries, but we're all out of chicken. And I go, you're a chicken place. Are you not going to put any more on? They're like, nope. I'm like, it's 2 p.m. It's the afternoon, like right close enough on dinner. You're not going to have, nope, you can have French fries if you want. I'm like, dude, what are we talking about? That's when it all started going to shit, is when employees stopped caring because their job became a little bit, and that's, I mean, should you care if you're in fast food? Some people really take their job seriously and make sure people have a great time. It's like going to Starbucks. I stopped going to Starbucks because it became too much of a hassle.
Yeah, they should, but everybody poo-poos these jobs right now. Like these really important jobs that society really relies on, like garbage men and janitors and things like that, and they're like, "Oh, you're just a janitor." Well, no, man, that's a really important job. Without that, this whole hallway would be trash, right? Your bathroom wouldn't have toilet paper in it.
And you're lucky if you get the Goodwill Hunting janitor.
Solve your equation. I got this really hard math problem.
Holy shit. I solved the thing for that's a crazy thing to me is did you know the CIA is active on college campuses?
Oh yeah. Where do you think they're going to get their talent?
That was exposed in the church committee report and like the after Watergate, and it's still going on today. I had a guy write a book about it, and he goes, "Yeah, one of the professors I talked to, I think it was Yale, he talked about how the scientist said that a CIA guy approached him about trying to solve the thing for invisibility, like to be invisible." And like it was he put a whole bunch of documentation in his book, and I just go, "Oh my God, like that's pretty cool." But then it's like, what else are they doing? Like they have a heart attack gun to try and kill Castro. So it's like, what are we talking about here? Like, what do we define conspiracy? And what do you define national security? Just give me like a couple like details on what you mean by national security. Is it going to give me cancer or am I just going to be like
You're just going to
colorblind
get syphilis. You're just going to get
just
syphilis. That's all.
randomly?
Yeah. Put it in the water.
That's why they told you never to lick a bus stop.
Or chew gum off of a railing. I don't know.
Hey, I don't know
Maybe
about that second
that's
one.
what but see, that's why I was saying about that balloon is that we don't know that it actually came from the CCP. I mean, they're like, oh yeah, the CCP said that it came from the CCP, but
They
I'm like,
wouldn't state it if it wasn't that. There's so much risk in saying it was the Chinese government. Like China hears that, you're gonna be in some shit.
what's China gonna do? Honestly, you're gonna stop
Uh
sending fucking masks to us again?
Stop making everything they've been making for us so far.
But then that would cut their
You're
throats because
literally
who are they going
going
to
to
sell
sit
all that shit
down.
to?
You're gonna go sit down, and your whole chair is gonna disappear as soon as you go and sit down. It's like the IRS taking away your shit. That's what's gonna happen when China stops making our stuff. Everything in your house is gonna slowly disappear. Where'd my coffee maker go?
It's
China
like the
made it.
whole like customer business relationship, right? They're like, you're saying that, oh, they'll just stop doing all that for us, but then what are they going to do with that? And then how are they going to supply their economy?
So they
We're
don't
their
have
number
to.
one consumer.
They can say to the people, "Hey, you guys can have a break for a little bit," and then everyone just passes
But
out
then
from
how are
exhaustion.
they going to get their rice bowls? What are they going to eat? How are they going to pay for the things that they need to buy? How are they
The
going to
go-
buy oil from Saudi Arabia to fucking keep their machine going? Like it's a symbiotic relationship. On little things here or there, you could kind of like stow the line on businesses and that type of stuff. But when it comes to the whole like big picture of like, okay, we're not going to deal with you anymore, and we're going to like, all right, well, fuck you. We're just going to make it ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like they need each other. And so maybe China's, maybe the CIA is like, listen, China, we need you to take a fall for us on this one. We got to put a balloon up. We need you to be the bad guy. China's like, okay, no problem, because we're going to
but
need
why
you
would
to
they
be the
shoot
bad
down
guy
their own
next week
balloon? Why would they shoot down their own balloon?
because it got caught. And that's why they waited till it got all the way across, right?
That's another thing. Why would the Chinese government get caught unless they wanted to be caught?
Right. Which goes to your theory as the sending of a message. But again, I don't, I don't know. There's a part of me that believes that it's our balloon. We put it up
You're a
there.
little too anti-government for me. Like I'm with you on some things, but then there's some things where I'm like, look, I can tell you a lot about the government that you probably don't even know, and you could
Right.
probably tell
And
me
that's
a
why I'm
lot as well
surprised
too.
that you're not anti-government as much.
Because there's just no incentive. Like this idea of a grand order and grand reset, it's not that extreme. It's not like they want to kill off half the population. There might be some individual, like Epstein Island, for instance. That's just the boomer Bohemian Grove. Like it's not even like it's same shit that's been going on, but they found a different way to do it. Now I talked to a guy who had been investigating reporting on like the Franklin scandal and all that, and he also talked about Epstein thing. Found Epstein had connections with like what looks like intelligence. Like, where did he get his island from? How come Ghislaine Maxwell is the only one that's been sent to prison for
And why
trafficking
don't we have the
children to
list?
nobody? Like,
Nobody, right? Where's the list?
so like it's like the same thing with like a government accountability at this point, where it's like if you're gonna be like if I come to you and you work in the CIA and I say, "Hey, I want you to be part of this project, okay? This project is going to be taking LSD and drugging random children,
Okay, so that's where the
women,
disconnect
men."
is. So like the government doesn't go to the CIA. The CIA just says, "Hey, we're going to do this." And we're
But
not
no,
going to
the
tell the
CIA
government.
doesn't say that. The CIA doesn't even tell you what they're doing.
Right. Right. They just do it. But I don't think the government goes to the CIA and tells the CIA, "Hey, we need you to do this." Because I don't think the CIA answers to anyone. I think the
CIA doesn't,
CIA.
the FBI doesn't, the NSA doesn't, and the NSA is the one that we probably have the least amount of documentation on when it comes to films, when it comes to I mean, they have really good documents. That's where I get a lot of my JFK stuff from because the NSA is like, we don't trust the fucking CIA and we do not trust the FBI. And I'm like, I
Right. Like
love
I don't
this.
think it's one group that's controlling everything. I think it's all these little groups that are trying to like control everything in their own little realm, and then they just use the government when they need to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't get, how do you get to the Orwellian controlling aspect?
How do I get to the or oh well that's more like the CCP because the CCP is just one person, right? That guy's just one person controlling everything. And he's controlling the government and making them do all the stuff. Where here, there's little factions and they're just kind of trying to pull strings where it benefits them. Um, but it's they're all kind of fighting within each other. It's almost like when the government, we talk about the government, and everybody's like, oh, the left and the right. And it's like, no, they're kind of on the same side. They're in the same room making the same deals with each other. And then we're gonna pretend like we're not getting along out in the world.
I think the left and the right thing is a show, but I think they're not working together. I think it's the only way that they can talk about conspiracy stuff and it be kind of news reported is when they blame the other side. If you notice, none of it ever tracks to the CIA, none of it ever tracks to the FBI, none of it ever tracks to the NSA, and they're the ones that are orchestrating that stuff. I mean, there's a really important thing that I heard from a guy who studied like why CIA directors can write their memoirs about being in the CIA. The same ghostwriter is listed on every single one of those CI directors' books. And this is over a period of like generations where this guy has to be like 800 years old to be able to even, well, not 800, but he has to be an old, like impossible to still be alive
Right.
type
It's a
person.
fucking
It's,
vampire.
it's a ghostwriter name. So one thing that was in the rough draft of Richard Helms, and Richard Helms and Alan Dulles were both kind of running MK Ultra. So one thing that's in his rough drafts, now understand Richard Helms is speaking out off his brain, which means he's writing down his thoughts. And he says, through my time as director, we have done over 1,000 covert operations. Now that's enlisted to propaganda tactics, regime change, assassination plots, all of that. In the final draft, the message says he's been in charge of a couple dozen. That's a really big impact to what you just said. And
Right.
it
Like
was
he's supposed to be the head, but he only knew about 12 or so. But there's been thousands of
you're
them,
you're
right?
you're
Guys
miss
just working independently.
you're missing the point. Is the point is that off of his mind, his just out of his thoughts, he gave probably a more direct response to a couple, like basically 1,000 covert operations as his time. And in the final draft, what they released to the public says a couple dozen. The impact of, okay, he probably did like 24. No, they saw that we have to change the wording here because you said something that we don't want them to know the realistic number, which is 1,000 something. That's the damaging part. But that's like everything, though. I mean, it's like if you say someone, can you get me that? Sounds aggressive. But then if you say, can you please get me that? It sounds better. Like they're not lying or they're not hiding things. They're just not giving you, they're kind of wording it different, like a lawyer.
Right. The whole word game. Yeah. Yeah. I saw that all through the whole pandemic, like, oh, COVID related, not actually died from,
Okay,
right?
you gotta chill on the COVID topic. You got a million other conspiracy things you can pick out of the hatch, and you keep going to that one.
So it's just the one that's most fresh.
At least YouTube lets you talk about like Epstein and stuff.
What do you think that whole shit? Remember when people used to be able to just say whatever?
What, the censorship thing?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's YouTube's platform. You can say stuff on Spotify. The guy's like from Sweden. He doesn't care. He doesn't go to all the American, but I mean, that's like I said, that's the platform part. My issue is that when they have like guidelines, it's kind of like national security. They don't have like a set guidelines. Like there's papers I can show you document wise that'll show you that the CIA found how they can word things to get passed through Congress without being flagged as like potentially dangerous operations. It just YouTube does the same things. They say that you can't say this type of content, but they leave the door open. So it's like they won't tell you specifically what you said so you can edit it out. They just say, nope, you said something we don't like. And I'm like, well, if you talk about the Jets sucking, you can say that's something you don't like, and then you can just flag it. And that's like a really dangerous thing, is like trying to make corporations and things define their terms. It's like they've somehow gotten away with an open door policy.
Yeah, it's against the guidelines. What are the guidelines?
Figure it
Kind of
out.
this gray area. we
You
don't really
figure it
want to
out.
tell you.
It's like
But you
that's
went
what a
against them.
that's how people in customer service should be when you go and like, what's good here? You just be like, you figure it out.
Yeah, I do. That's what I tell them. What do you like? I don't know what you want. Do you eat meat? Do you eat vegetables? Feeling
I would
hungry?
ask you that question now that if I ever go visit your food truck. The only honest company we have is Chick-fil-A.
Did you see somebody started a food truck? It's called Side Chick, and they're open on Sundays, and they pull up into Chick-fil-A parking lots.
Their car is going to explode. It's going to happen. Chick-fil-A is coming for you.
Great.
Did you
It
see the
has like,
KFC thing I sent you?
yes, Colonel.
That was hilarious. John Goodman talking about like, at least we're open on Sundays. And unlike Church's Chicken, and just it went really deep into that. That shit was hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's the truck. It looks like Chick-fil-A. It has the same red and white logo type thing
Oh,
and
the
everything.
the side chick
Yeah,
truck.
Side Chick truck. Yeah, I thought it was genius. And then they pull into Chick-fil-A parking lots on Sundays
I
and
wonder what
post
it's
up.
like for someone to work at Chick-fil-A knowing that there's like this kind of background to them, and they're pretty open about it. Like you could protest them, but they like, we don't give a shit.
We don't care.
But
It's
the
just our moral
employees,
standpoint.
like I dated a girl that worked at Chick-fil-A.
Was she a real people pleaser? Did she do
She
anything
was
you told
really,
her?
really nice. You know what? Like she was a really like good person, didn't have any hate in her heart. And that was before all that stuff started breaking about Chick-fil-A having like this anti this attitude. So like I wanted to reach out to her recently and be like, real quick, you remember when you worked at Chick-fil-A? And like, did you know about all this? Like, did you agree? Because I didn't know about it.
I think it. We talked about it on the very first time I was on. Chick-fil-A has that personality test that they administer, and they make sure they get the people that fit their box.
What do you mean? Do they just put a bucket of chicken in front of them and see which type of meat they pick?
No, uh there's that personality test that tells you what personality traits that you have. That are you a people pleaser? Do you go along, or are
I
you a
would
rebel
love to take
rouser?
I would love to take the employee test where they just put a bunch of sauce packets in front of me and they go, real quick, if someone asks you for extra Chick-fil-A sauce, what do you say? Oh, sure, here, take one. They slap me in the head. No, you say no. You say no. And I'm like, but they wanted an extra sauce. I thought it's like my pleasure is what we're supposed to give them the best experience. And they slap me in the head again. No, we give them the idea that we're in service to them. Really, they're the money mouths that keep feeding our pockets. And I'm like, oh,
That's the
I'm like,
McDonald's
what about the
employee.
milkshake machine? What do you say when they say to you, the milkshake machine, they want a milkshake? What do you say? And I go, the machine's broken. Slap me in the back of the head. We are fond of our milkshakes. We are different from McDonald's. We always make milkshakes. You make sure they get two. And I'm like, Jesus,
Did you see about why the milkshake machines are always broken at McDonald's?
because nobody wants to turn it on.
No, they only they get their machines from one maker, and only that maker can service them, and it costs a lot of money. And from my understanding is that service provider, they make shitty machines, so they're always broken, so they always have to get called to come in.
I mean, that's normal with every like service job, though.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Apple business model, where
Well, I
only
mean,
Apple can.
I got a new iPhone. I didn't want it, but I got it. and I bought $100 and something case. Then I bought a $50 screen protector. And then as I'm going to the checkout thing, and I noticed my phone, the way it sits is like, see the giant camera on it? It sits and the camera's off the phone a little bit. So it sits right on the
So it's
camera. And
on the camera. That's not good.
I go, isn't that going to scratch up the camera? And like, yeah, you have to buy a separate thing for that as well, too. And I go, how much is that? Like $75. I'm like, do they do that on purpose? Like, yeah, we're pretty sure they do that on purpose. I go,
Yeah, they're genius. They're the only tech company that isn't laying people off right now.
goddamn capitalism.
You can't knock the business model, but
I mean, Elon Musk is not laying people off.
oh yeah, he is. Well,
He
it
fired
depends
all
on
of
which
Twitter, but
company.
not his staff.
Yeah,
He's got his own
which
staff.
company? He's just bringing them in from SpaceX and Tesla. But yeah, I think he's laying people off in Tesla. They're having problems.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, they shit on Tesla way too much.
They shit on Tesla? But yeah, they do. Because what he does is totally against everyone else's model of doing business. He doesn't patent anything. He's like, yeah, I want you guys to use the technology. Come up with a better car than I do. He's
He
like,
also doesn't
I,
have
I
labor
won't be mad.
unions, which is people give him shit for. And I go, well, a labor union is not a good thing to have. A labor union means that the people in the company don't like what's going on in the company, so they have to do a labor union to get their wages that they're deserved. He just gives people investments into their stock. The only problem I really have with Elon is the fact that when he was doing all those Twitter file releases, like Epstein and all that, he was doing it like a show. Like, come back tomorrow for part 2. And I'm like, dude, just release it all if you really care about it. Like, let everyone see it now so they're not coming back like a reality television show.
But you got to build the hype for the sheep, man. You know, if you give them everything all at once, they'll only eat half and they won't go through the rest, right? But when if you just trickle it out, they're like, oh, I got to come back and get the rest tomorrow.
I mean, it's good, but if you actually care about like the fate of the world and how people's minds are going, you would just be giving it all to them.
But I mean, I think he realized that like he's going to release all this information and it's not really going to do much. Just like,
So he does it over a period of a fucking month to where the government could just have a minute to kill him. Really? Really? That's what we're doing here?
I think he understands the
Like if I
psyche of the
told you a
sheep.
joke and I didn't tell you the punchline until a month from now, you would be so pissed at me.
Maybe
Like
he didn't have it all.
if your weatherman told you the weather report today for yesterday. I
Guess
needed
so.
that
I mean, that
yesterday.
I think he understands the attention span of people. It's like if I give them too much information at once, it's just going to get lost. It's going to be like the forest and the trees.
He's doing it like a circus.
Got to keep them engaged. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Like a circus.
Make him happy. Put a bear on a tricycle and watch him eat a monkey or something. You don't remember that video?
Bear on a tricycle.
There was a bear on a circus that was on one of those unicycle things, and behind the bear was hooked to the unicycle was a monkey on a no, it was a monkey on a unicycle, and it was a bear in a little tractor thing, a little like wagon wheel, and he was sitting on the thing, and the monkey was pedaling on the unicycle, and it would pull the bear cart. It was a circus act thing, so it was like everyone's like laughing and have a good time. Well, I forgot what happened. Someone did something with a flash, and the monkey like went like that or something, and he stopped, and the wagon wheel had caught and hit the unicycle, so they like bumped into each other, and the bear just got so angry that he just started eating the monkey. And this was like live in front of all these children and all this type of
Is
stuff.
this
And
on
then
YouTube? Can I
yeah,
get?
you
Can
can
I
watch it.
type in bear eats monkey on
I'd pull it up now,
unicycle?
but I'm pretty sure my computer will crash if I do that. But it was
Crash.
like it's a real video.
Can't wait to see that.
That's why Barnum and Bailey Circus stopped doing their shows.
I don't think that's why. I think it's because people were protesting about the elephants.
I wonder how many people die in those trapeze acts every year.
I'm sure you can Google it.
It's like skydiving. I think it's like 3 people every year that die.
Is that it?
Probably
I feel like
more.
there should be so many more.
I was lowballing.
Big time. I feel like that happens like a month.
I mean, some people that's their day life is like my buddy, he worked in the military doing the paratroopers training. So he did that every day for like 20 years almost. So every day he jumped out of a plane like 6 times. And I'm like, oh my God, just the ability that one day you're not going to be able to. I was like, you ever get scared? He's like, every time. I go, oh my God. I was like, imagine doing that. Your heart has to be aged by like 30 years at that point.
I feel like you have to get scared, so that you like make sure that everything is good. Because I read a story about a guy. He was like a camera guy, and he had done so many jumps like that that it just kind of became like routine to him. And he was doing this one jump, and it was just such like a routine to him that he forgot to put his parachute on. And he like jumped out with no chute.
That's like trying to, I mean, you got to understand, someone packs those for you when you go up there. So imagine if that dude just like gets like, his wife just found out his wife's cheating on him. He goes into work and he's all pissed off and upset, very depressed, and he's doing these
Right. He's not
airplane
like
things.
paying attention.
Yeah, he just doesn't think. He just, yep, here we go. And then he goes, all right, packed up everything. And the guy's like, is my parachute? Are you sure? And he's like, yes, I'm sure. And they get out of the airplane and then they go and pull the cord and the chute just doesn't unfold. And he's like, ah, he's like, oh God. I mean, that was like the guy that ran the company, the airplane skydiving company. I forgot what the name was. And he ran it for like 30 years. And then he retired and gave it to his son to run the business. And on his son's second week, a guy goes up on the thing. He's flying, like he would fly the plane and have like these people jump. The dude jumped without a parachute and killed himself on purpose. And I was like, dude, you had in the business shut down. And it was like, oh my God, imagine being that guy's dad where he's like, one rule we have, you make sure they jump with it on. And if they're coming up to you telling you, I don't feel so happy in life right now, you just don't let them get on the plane.
You got to
It's
take a psyche
it's
eval before you
horrible.
get on the plane.
Imagine that though. You spend 40 years into your business and your daughter ruins it in 2 weeks.
Uh, I hope I'm dead already, or I would get up and jump. I'd be the next one jumping out of the plane.
Jesus. I couldn't. That's like the worst way to go. It's like jumping out of
That's
an
why.
airplane. People say you don't
Ye-
feel it when you hit the ground. How do you know?
Yeah.
How do you know?
I mean, when I got hit by the car and I flipped in the air and then came down, I felt that shit on the
Wait,
ground.
what? You never
I
told
never
me
told you
that.
this. I never
No.
told you the story where I got hit by a car. I was out drunk walking, and I was meeting a friend, and there's like an intersection. It's Frankfurt and Girard. It's a pretty popular intersection, lots of bars and clubs and stuff like that. And it's like how do I explain it? It's like a one way going this way, and then a bus trolley rail type thing in the middle, and then traffic going down the opposite end. And people aren't supposed to drive in that middle bus trolley type thing, but they do. And my friend's on the other side of the intersection, so I'm trying to run over to meet him. And there's a bus in that thing, so like I'm running up to the intersection, and I run, and I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't run out in front of the bus. I might get run over by the bus. So I go to the back of the bus, and as I'm like running from behind the bus to now like cross over to the other part of the intersection, I'm gonna have to step out into the street behind the bus. And I'm like running, and the voice in my head is like, don't run out, don't run out, don't run out. But I'm still running out. And like just as I'm about to like run out from behind the bus, like something like stopped me. So like I put like one leg out into the street and like looked, and then here comes this like Isuzu pickup truck flying down. And I thought I pulled back behind the bus quick enough, but I didn't. And the guy clipped the whole like right side of me. And I didn't realize it until like I'm in the air and like I'm spinning and I'm seeing like ground sky. I'm like, oh fuck, I got hit. And then boom, I came down flat, like elbows, toes, head hard onto the concrete. And I liken it. I'm like, damn, that's what it felt like. That's probably what it feels like to get trucked by Brian Dawkins, or free safety in the NFL. Like you just get taken out as a wide receiver. So I'm like laying there in the middle of the street, and like when I hit, it just was like, oh, like it knocked everything out of you. And I'm like, I got to get out of the street. I like roll up onto the curb, and now I'm like laying on the curb, and the guy stopped, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I don't know, man. Give me a second. Let me make sure nothing's broken or I'm
And then he just
bleeding.
goes into his middle console, taps his gun safe thing, and goes, all right, got to put him out of his misery.
Finish him
God,
off. I got up and I'm like, all right. It doesn't feel like anything's broken. I'm not bleeding. My head hurts a little bit. Now the adrenaline is going, you know? So I'm like, yeah, I think I'm okay. And he's like, you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. I'm all right. And then I'm like, yeah, I got, and I didn't,
Is
I'm
your
like,
ankle supposed to bend that way?
and I'm like, I'm in shock. So I'm like, not thinking that like, oh, I should probably get this guy's information or anything like that. And I just like get across the street to my friend, and he's like, get in his car, and he's like, what happened? It looked like you got hit by a car. And I was like, I did. And he's like, you want to go to the hospital? I'm like, nah, man, let's just go to this party. He's like, what? Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Let's just go to this party. I'm fine. I'm fine. He's like, you want to call a lawyer? I'm like, nah, I didn't get this guy's information. And he's like, what? What? I'm like, yeah, come on, let's just go to this party. So we're at the party for like half an hour, and the adrenaline starts to wear off, and I'm starting to feel it. I'm like, I don't feel so good. And he's like, you want me to take you to the hospital now? I'm like, nah, man, I'm just going to get an Uber and go home. You know, I don't trust doctors or hospitals.
Did they have Uber back then or taxi?
They did. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. It's probably like 2018. So yeah, when I went home, and my wife saw me, and she's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "I got hit by a car." She was like, "Oh," I just like laid in a chair through the night, couldn't move, and then the next day I woke up, I couldn't move. My buddy called me up. He's like, "How you doing? You all right?" I was like, "Nah, man, I'm not good. Can't move." He's like, "You want to go to the hospital now?" And I'm like, "Nah, I still don't want to go." It's like, "I got some CBD salve. You want me to bring that
Oh
over?" I was like,
god.
"Yeah, let me try it." And he we put that shit on my, and I like within
That's when you
15
start
minutes, I
calling
was
all your
able to,
Reiki energy healing friends like, "Come over here and get your goddamn hands over me."
dude, that CBD salve worked, man. I got within 15 minutes, I was able to start walking again. And yeah, my whole side was just black and blue. I'm still fucked up.
You have
My leg
dreads under
hurts.
that hat? Is that what you're trying to tell me right now? Is that you just immediately switched over to CBD people?
No, that was the first time I ever tried it. I always thought it was like garbage when they got it and stuff, but that stuff worked. Got me walking again. What can I do?
Ah, still not. I'm still never gonna try it, but okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't take like CBD gummies or anything like that. But if you have any kind of like aches or pains, muscle pain, because it's like Tiger Balm, it's like that type of stuff. It, like, burns your eyes and stuff, but it worked.
Why are you applying it to your eyes?
I'm not, but just like when you open it up, you
Oh,
smell it.
you just smell it.
You, yeah.
Do you, when you wipe, do you smell your hand too?
No, I already know it smells like shit.
How's it going? How's it good? I was not expecting that. I talked to a guy who talked about the bad side of marijuana, and I already know because I always had a bad experience with it. And he was talking about the dangers of why the legalization is bad. And he goes, I go, like, what do you mean? Like, is it? And he goes, because it's all in the hands of the companies. The only reason it's becoming legal is because the companies found a way to be able to profit off of it. And the dangerous part about this is like back in your day, if you ever smoked weed, you would smoke like 30 joints and you would barely get high. My day, it was like 2 bowls or a bowl, and you would be out of your mind. Now it's like these kids take a gummy and they're messed up for weeks. So he's like, you're not about to have a whole generation of kids with some severe trauma in their life and major disorders because they're basically trying on like the purest high grade stuff right out the gate.
Yeah, schizophrenia is going to be huge. But then you got to figure like that helps the medical industry, right?
Yeah, but then the government could just say, you are just being paranoid, and they could really be doing something bad. They
Mm-hmm.
already do that now.
Mm-hmm. Oh
They're
yeah.
not listening to our phones.
Yeah, no, I had to stop smoking. This new weed is just nuts, man. I can't do it. I want some of that old scraggly Mexican brick weed full of seeds. That would be great. This stuff now, I feel like it gets you all fucked up, and then they pump you full of subliminal messages through the TikTok and Instagram
Maybe
reels.
that's when
And
you notice the subliminal messages. I found that whenever I got high, I noticed like something I was doing was weird and I would stop doing it. You know what I
maybe
mean?
with the old weed, yeah, but this new
Like if
weed,
I
maybe
was
not.
high and I was sitting eating a bowl of cinnamon toast crunch at 9 p.m. and I was watching the movie Friday, I'm like, you know what? This is not normal. This is weird. I gotta stop doing this. And then I'd go and get like a healthy snack and sit and watch Friday at 9 p.m.
Yeah, psychedelics will do that to you. We were on a trip one time. We had some really wild acid, this black blotter, and everybody that took it basically lost their minds. And the one girl, she had this epiphany that she needed to eat healthy stuff to make her live. And after that trip, she became like a fitness instructor type person, got her life together. It was, I guess, a good trip for her.
I think there's a danger in trying to do those types of drugs because like a lot of people do it because I want to try and discover myself. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. But what happens if you don't like what you find?
It opens your mind to change it. That's what it says. So like it's not going to change you, but it'll kick open the doors for you to make the changes yourself.
I know, but maybe you don't like you're scared of those changes. Like imagine if you take acid and you're like a corporate CEO and you go, "Oh my God, I've been ruining people's lives. I've pulled out so many pensions and retirements and fucked people over." And you just start shaving your head in the mirror trying to get rid of your slicked back hair. And then you decide to go out to a thrift store and buy like really old clothes. But then you still don't like who you are because on the inside you're still the same person. So you go, "What can I do to change it?" So you just start drinking bleach.
Or you just jump off a fucking
That's what I'm
Empire State
saying.
Building.
That's why in was it Japan or China they put nets around their buildings because people were jumping out.
Well, China
This is
around the Apple factories.
Yeah, it was the same reason in casinos the windows don't open.
Yeah, there's no balconies on casinos in Vegas. They had there. I just heard it yesterday. There's one casino that had balconies, and within the first 2 weeks of them being open, like 15 people jumped or some crazy shit
Because
like
you
that.
have people that literally go and they think they're gonna win. They get trying to have a good night, and they're like $50,000 in the hole, and then they go to their hotel room and they're staring out the window at this amazing view, wondering how they're gonna afford this the next morning, and that's when they jumped out a window. I'll never forget when I went to Vegas. I've went twice, but the first time I went, I was 14 years old, which is like I would love to go now because now the both times I went, I was before 21. Now I'm like, oh shit, I can have some really good fun. But maybe it's a good thing I don't go because I'd probably end up broke or I'd win like $1 billion. I'm telling you, dude, recently I was like, I feel really lucky to gamble right now. I don't know why. It's like just random urge that I got, and I never get like that. So I'm like, maybe I should try it.
You got FanDuel on your phone?
No, I hate those damn apps. They put in your social security number. I'm like, fuck you.
No,
No.
no.
Why do I have
You
to
guys
do
got
that for
casino. I know.
Bitcoin?
There's a casino in Maryland now. There's
Yeah, I
two
know. I
of
used
them
to
now.
work at one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You were security.
That's why I would never gamble, is because like the first day I worked there, I saw three people win total probably close to $100,000. And it was in the first hour of my 4:30 a.m. shift. And I was like, oh my God, I got to gamble. Then the main guy's been there for like 30 years because this does not happen every day. And I go, oh, why does it happen today? And that's
Because
why
you were there.
I was there first day.
You were there,
Um,
Robbie.
that job I hated so much because when they do that at 4:30 in the morning, they have to, we're security, so we had to change all the machines out, and all the machines alarms start going off. So you have to keep changing every single one out. So for an hour, you're just hearing alarms.
Ding, ding,
And
ding, ding, ding,
I'll
ding,
never
ding.
forget the one guy that won like $45,000 or something like that. And I go to him, I go, "What are you going to do, man? I'm happy for you." And he goes, "I'm going to go to McDonald's and get myself a couple egg McMuffins." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "But you want me to call you a cab or something?" And he goes, "Nah, man, what are you talking about? I feel fine." I was like, "Yeah, but you've had some drinks." He goes, "Yeah." And then we just stared at each other and I go, "All right, whatever.
Have a good night.
Good night. Bye. Fuck. What the hell?" It's like 4:30 in the morning. I was like, I don't know what to do to them. But there were people there that would be like falling asleep at the slot machine. Zing, zing, zing. So the story with the Las Vegas thing is you don't know how oblivious you are when you're a kid. Like you're just oblivious to a bunch of shit. And I'm like, we went to this place and they have this long like walkway, and the long walkway has a giant screen above it, and it's you see videos of it where they play like flying through space on the roof or whatever. And well, on that little like it's called the strip, on well, not the giant strip, but there's like a side part to it. And on that there's a wedding chapel, and my uncle got married, and I never thought about it. And I never like I remember sitting in the church and I was like, can we go yet? And it was a big event for them, but they just got married in Vegas. And I never even thought about it. I go, wait a minute, they did one of those Las Vegas weddings, and I just realized that now that I'm older. I go, damn, I can't believe I was a part of that, and I did not realize I was getting bored out of my mind. Like, what the hell are we doing? And
Was Elvis the
I don't think so. I just know it was nobody was dressed up. Everyone, my uncle was wearing skull rings on his fingers, and he's wearing like a old mechanic shirt, and he was like all this type of. It wasn't, but it
this your
was like what
dad's
is it?
brother?
No, this is my brother's dad,
Okay.
so we're half brothers.
Right, right, right.
So it was, and it was a big event for him too, because he got to be the best man at his dad's wedding, and him and his dad like were disconnected for a long time. So it was like, oh my God, this is like everything for him, and I just didn't even know what the hell was going on until like about yesterday. I started thinking back about that memory, and I was like, wait a minute, I was at a Las Vegas wedding. There's photos of it too. We're like on the street, and it's me, and there's like those two dancer girls, and they have the one big bouncer who's like really like big and like jacked, and it's like just a photo with the girls. And I was like 14 years old. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I was like, I want to go play the arcade games in our hotel because we stayed at Circus, so there was like a carnival slash hotel thing. It was awesome. I probably spent hundreds of dollars at that place.
That is the epiphany of white trash wedding.
And the wedding wasn't at Circus. The wedding was at the thing.
At the chapel, at the
But it was
back.
fun because you get to walk around. I was actually going to do that recently. I was like, if I take a break from the show, I was going to go to travel and go to like Vegas and Hawaii and all that.
You should totally do that. I highly recommend it. How long did your uncle know his wife that he married
I
at
think
Circus?
they dated for a while.
Okay, I was
She
gonna
flew
say, did
with
they
us to
just?
Vegas.
Okay,
So
I was gonna say, did he meet her like the night before at the Go Go? It's like I found my soulmate.
no, no, that'd be a better story. My story was a little bit dry. It was missing some details.
Like, is that where they got that from? In how's that movie? Oh, God, my
Hangover?
brain. Yes, that's the one.
It's like the only Vegas movie.
Right.
Then there's like two other ones that just take place in different places with the same storyline and different events
He
happen.
rips out his fucking own tooth and
I know.
marries the goat dancer.
Has a baby named Carlos. It's not really the baby's name. That movie, so many people were so mad they made sequels. So, you ever been to Vegas?
Vegas, no, I have never had that much fuck you money because I
Did
feel
you,
like if I go to Vegas, I need at least bare minimum $20,000.
did you know that they make their casinos for tailored to the Chinese gamblers that come down here? Did you know that?
Yeah, because they blow big time money. They're
They
whales.
found out their major clientele was Chinese gamblers and businessmen, and they made their casinos like that. This is originally, if you look at what the MGM is, it's either the MG, I think it's the MGM. They originally had the gold lion that's out front, but originally the front entrance was a lion's mouth, and none of the Chinese gamblers would want to go in there because it was bad luck to enter the mouth of a lion and gamble. So they figured that out and they changed it. And I go, well, that's how you know. Like, I mean, how many people go in there like wearing like a really shitty Hawaiian shirt and they have like a giant Slurpee and like a lanyard around their neck? I remember I went into a porn store when I was 14 over there and it was just normal. And I now that I think, oh my God, I keep thinking back about it. I was like, there were so many things about that that was wrong. And my grandma just did not give a shit. Wow. That's really dangerous, dude. You know, like when someone tells you something, like my grandpa passed away recently. Um, and I asked my grandma, I'm like, what are we doing? Are we doing a funeral? Are we doing a cremation? Like, what's going on? She goes, your grandpa wanted his body to be donated to science. And I go, oh my God, the number of times he told me that when I was a kid. And I just thought he was fucking with me. And he really did want that to happen. So his body right now is being uh worked on by good for him. But I mean, it was to me, it was just like one of those things where it's like, oh my God, you just don't realize until you're older. And then it just makes you like kind of like smile, like, wow, I can't believe he was right about that. And that's what we're walking around and there's like, so we entered a store in Las Vegas and they had knives, samurai swords, shurikens. It was like everything you could possibly think of in this store, all on the walls and shit. It's like a kid's, if you're 14 years old, this is your fucking dream right now. So we're walking around, we're grabbing all of them, we're like playing around with like the nunchucks, and it wasn't a kung fu store. It was everything, like barbarian axes. It looked like a giant cosplay store or something like that. But then right beside it, we went in there, and it was where my grandma was in there, my grandpa was in there. Um, oh my God. Oh no, nobody bought anything. That I know of. They could have did it when I went down, whatever. But I went in there. It was like it was my uncle in there. It was my his new wife in there, and we're walking around, and like we were just playing with all the samurai swords on the wall and shit. So now we entered a new store where they have the same exact things hung up on the wall except they're dildos. And I walk in there. I go, well, look at this, and then my uncle goes, don't fucking touch anything in here. And it's just like I didn't know what it was
Don't
at the
touch it.
time. And now I realize, oh God, yeah, you don't want to try and pick those up and play with samurai swords.
Samurai swords. Is that a
That's a
samurai
different thing on
sword?
the street. And then right below that was a thing that said massages. I swear to you, but we never went in there. But I'm pretty sure that was, yeah, it was one of those sex things. It wasn't. And that's open in Las Vegas. They have brothels and stuff. So
Brothels. Yeah, this is just a massage with a little
we don't
rub and
have
tug
strip
in.
clubs in Maryland. I'm upset about that.
Um,
Because I told you I'm making a JFK film. So what I wanted to do was there was a segment with Jack Ruby,
yeah.
and I was like,
Is the
you
block not around anymore
no, what's the block?
in Baltimore? You don't know about the
Oh,
block in Baltimore?
I'm not talking Baltimore. I mean like in Ocean City and all that.
I got you. Got you.
But I thought this would be funny. Think of this. This is a good sales pitch for a movie scene. I said if I was going to do like a JFK film, there's Jack Ruby, the strip club owner. I was like to introduce that segment. What I was going to do is if I had like $1 million, this would be my idea. Go to a strip club and then like interview one of the people. Like if this was like 20 years ago, one of the people that was like arrested Jack Ruby, and I'd have him sitting in a chair and me sitting in a chair, and we're in a strip club, and right behind me is just a naked woman. So as I'm asking this guy serious questions about this historical event, there's just a pair of
Yeah,
tits right here. And then you get a guy come in and there's like a crotch right here. And the guy goes, would you like a drink? And I go, I'm good, thank you. And then just ignore everything. And then just have this really serious interview with this guy who's like a historical figure.
sounds
And
like
then
some Hunter S. Thompson shit right there.
he just goes, real quick, you got something right here? And I got a whole bunch of glitter on the side of my face. And I'm like, right here? I get it. Yeah, you got it. There's something stupid. I thought that would be hilarious for a film. Like that's what you got to make documentaries funny now, because now people are just like they're so tuned out of it. Unless it's like a murder documentary where it's like people are somehow addicted to the murder porn aspect. Like, oh my God, he's slowly sipping cyanide into his coffee every morning, and he's just getting angry and delusional in early stages of dementia. Then when he lies down, she's just slowly burning a candle over his head and saying some gibberish above his head in demonic prayer. And then like everyone loves that shit. Like Jeffrey Dahmer sparked up so much love, and people are like, "What's wrong with you people?" I'm like, "This is our society. Everyone has a murder fetish."
That's how I know I'm not a psychopath because I didn't watch the Jeffrey Dahmer shit. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm not as bad as I thought I was. I'm not. I think society has passed me on the level of fucked
You're
up.
not that bad though.
I'm not. No, for
You're
sure.
just very realistic.
I guess. I guess I'm
Like
I'm 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 willing to accept that all these things are possible or happening. Like I'm not going to be like, oh no, that just can't be. No.
what can't you accept?
I'm me personally, I can accept anything, but I'm saying like a lot of society is like, oh no, he's not a serial killer. He couldn't be a serial. He's such a nice guy.
That's what you should look into is the nice guy.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure that last house that I was living in, the dude that lived next door to me, he had a torture basement.
Really?
Yeah, because he was like that. He was just like one of the. He was like a nice guy. You never heard him or saw him. Or he just kept to himself. But he had like blackout, like blinds. You could never see in. And then I'm pretty sure there was one night when I had first moved in the house, probably like a few months being in, sitting in my living room, and all of a sudden I hear like the door next door like open really fast, and
You
then I
just
hear
hear
this
some
like,
like weird Swedish EDM music.
well, no, I hear this like girl screaming, "Help! Help! Oh my
Oh
God,
my
help me!"
God.
And she like skips my house and then goes to the house next door to me, and she's like banging on the door.
Why'd she skip your
And
house?
I guess because I was so close, I don't know. And
Oh, I would have been
the
like,
other neighbor,
"Bitch." No, I'm sorry, I can't say I would have been like, "Yo, like, what? I'm not good enough to call the cops for you? You don't use my phone?"
so I hear the other neighbor come out and like I can hear the conversation going on, and she's like, "I'm lost, and I'm supposed to meet my friends. Where's the closest bar?" And so, like, being who I am, I kind of know subcultures and stuff like that, and I'm like, "Oh, she's totally a prostitute, and her safety place to go if shit goes wrong is the closest bar." And the guy's like right down the end of the block, and then she like runs down, and you never hear or see her from again. But like every once in a while, I would see some other like prostitute type ladies going into this dude's house and shit, and I'm like, I don't know what he was trying to do to that one girl. Uh, but yeah, he definitely fit the profile of
Did his grass on his lawn look really, really neat, like super neat to where you couldn't?
no lawns.
Okay.
It's concrete porch and then the backyard. But yeah, he never came out into his backyard. He would pay the other guy down the block to come and clean his yard.
Well, that's not bad. I mean, there's people that never go into a pool that they own and they just stare at their pool because they have one.
So hey man, the baby's up.
I got you. No, you gave me enough of your time, brother man. It was good talking to you again. Where can people find your links? You want to promote anything?
Uh, fsfphilly.com is our website. Food Karma is my private Instagram page. Come and find me. I don't. I'm not interesting anymore. I don't know. I'm a
Okay.
dad now.
Well, I appreciate the time. It was good talking to you again. And thanks for listening to this episode of Out of the Blank Podcast.